So this Australian influencer pissed off the internet is what this caption reads. The truth is he pissed off a bunch of chicks online. Why? Because he encouraged men who he wants to focus on their goals to unfollow women on social media, especially those who are thirst trapping. And they did not like that.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Why would modern women be triggered by you withdrawing attention from their thirst traps? More on that later. Let's get it.
Ladies and gentlemen, what the hell?
This is male influencer Thomas Bolch, better known as Prime Train, and it's fair to say he has pissed off the internet.
He can only view women's bodies as sexual objects.
So he only views women's bodies as sexual objects because he wants men to unfollow women who are thirst trapping and women who may be distracting him. Right. Check out some of these comments. You literally just objectified OF woman again. Such an incel. So you're an incel for objectifying OnlyFans women. Big man beating his chest like some kind of ape. Typical toxic masculinity. Your lack of self-awareness is disappointing. Jeez.
So what exactly has he done to warrant this type of backlash? Well, he posted this.
Unfollow every female influencer. In fact, if you're a guy, probably you shouldn't be following girls that you aren't dating. Or that could be distracting you online.
But Prime Train reckons we're misunderstanding him, and today he clarified his point.
First off, don't unfollow every female influencer. Women are not objects. To even think that's what I'm saying in the post is ludicrous.
Although to most people it's pretty obvious, why are his comments so problematic?
All right, so what I don't like here is how they totally skipped over most of the context here. So let's read this ourselves. The post he made reads, unfollow every female influencer posting promiscuity/OF. So I'm assuming OF means OnlyFans. Those are the two key points here that people are missing out on. Goes on to say, in fact, if you're a guy, probably you shouldn't be following girls that you aren't dating or that could be distracting you online. I agree. I remember when I was focused on building my channel, I did exactly that. And it wasn't that I would look for these posts. I eventually began to realize that there were a lot of chicks who I followed. These weren't even like OnlyFans models. These were just regular chicks online who would once in a while post a thirst trap, a very obvious thirst trap. And we live in the day and age where society wants to convince you that you're not a man. They want you to think, oh, that's just some cheeks, and you shouldn't be bothered by that at all. They want you to forget about your manhood, right? To act like you don't notice when a woman is trying to show soft corn online. This is what they want you to do. This is what they want you to do on the streets. It should be, oh, women can dress however they want and men shouldn't look or notice. Women can go to the gym and wear scantily dressed outfits, and men are just supposed to act like they don't see what they see. And all of a sudden, when a woman gets into a relationship or she has a husband, all of a sudden she sees other women who are out here thirst trapping online, on the timeline. And so, yes, I do support men hiding those stories or those posts and just focusing on yourself. Listen, I'm going to double down right now because I really do believe that these are also the same people who think they can go to strip clubs and be in relationships. Like you have women who say, yeah, I don't care if my man goes to a strip club. It's whatever. And then he cheats on you. And then you're surprised, right? I thought I could trust him. They don't understand the way life works. That if you have goals in your life, then you should not put yourself in the way of being distracted from those goals. And this is just exactly that. Let's talk about the sponsor of this channel, fathershaverights.com. He sat in court while his soon-to-be ex-wife claimed the child is his, but he knew better. He'd had a vasectomy, and she actually showed up with the newborn. Yes, in court, hoping sympathy would override the facts. But when the judge ordered a DNA test, the truth shocked everybody, including her attorney. He wasn't the father. And just like that, 18 years of potential child support gone. Gentlemen, the system isn't always fair, especially to fathers. That's why fathershaverights.com is creating the custody prep guide for men, presented to you by expert attorneys to help fathers know what to do, what not to do, and how to protect themselves at every step of the custody process. Click the link pinned to the top of the comments, join the waiting list for the custody prep guide for men. Let's read the rest of this post. It goes on to read, at the start of 2025, I followed 5,456 people. By the end of 2025, it was below 200. Wow. What you see on your feed is distracting you. Very true. Very true. Don't go liking girls' promiscuous photos. No one wants to see your name under a girl's photo, especially if you have a partner. Plus, it trains the algorithm to show you more of that content. Every time you open your phone, you see soft porn. Control your lust. Control your brain. Control what you see. If a man can control lust, he can control his goals. Stop watching that stupid shit on adult sites. Focus. Get back on track. Come on, bro. I want you to think of how insane it is that we live in a day and age where saying this is wrong. Saying control your lust, saying don't be thirsty is wrong. They actually want you to go against this and, like those OnlyFans pictures. What an effed up world. And why did he give in? Why did he sound like he was apologizing? Now, the more that I think about it, probably because he, probably built his platform with a mixture of people who were caffeinated and those who weren't, right? Those who accepted the truth about life and those who started to drink tea and believe modern delusions. Words to the wise, man. If you're going to serve coffee, lean into it, double down, don't look back, because you won't be able to unsee the truth. I hope he didn't give in to the mob. Let's keep watching.
Comments so problematic.
When you do have an impressionable following, what you say to that following does really matter.
And not only is this problematic because it suggests that women are like only useful for sexual gratification, but it also encourages men to...
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. He was very specific about who you should not give attention to and who you should not follow. And unfortunately, there are a lot of you women who are only good for that. Yes.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
This is the truth. If you live by the terms, I don't have to do anything to get what I want out of life. Everything is mine. I am the table. I don't have to become anything. I don't have to bring anything of value. Look at this. Look at me. Then what else do you have to offer?
Turn their algorithms into this weird echo chamber of like toxic bro culture about like moving to Dubai and driving a Maserati.
This kind of content is just as damaging to men, if not more damaging to men than it is to women.
So, any advice to Prime and his fans?
Talk to women.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Talk to women. Let's listen to her video. So I have her complete video here pulled up.
We need to talk about Prime Train, and I'm almost certain I'm going to regret making this video, but it needs to be said, and I've got a big male audience, so maybe I can hit the right audience that need to hear this. But Prime Train, this guy, has taken a break from his full-time job of making videos about Kelly Holiday to suggest to his male followers, who are very impressionable, that they should unfollow all women. And not only is this problematic because it suggests that women are like only useful for sexual gratification, but it also encourages men to turn their algorithms into this weird echo chamber of like toxic bro culture about like moving to Dubai and driving a Maserati. But more so, it is just so dangerous because it encourages them to...
Please don't unfollow me. Please don't listen to this guy. Don't cancel your OnlyFans subscriptions.
Never have their ideas challenged, which when we talk about the male loneliness epidemic and like men's mental health, which are very important issues in the world, a big part of that is that men don't feel like they can talk about anything, and leaving them in these like toxic echo chambers of other men that are like, grind set, Dubai, don't pay taxes, tax fraud.
Men don't feel like they can talk about anything. I'm sorry, guys. I'm pausing it. This video has pissed me off. Men don't feel like they can talk about anything to you. Men don't feel like they can talk about anything to modern women, to a lot of women, because they can't handle the truth, which is why they go into male spaces and actually speak the truth there.
Is so deeply dangerous to them on all levels. So I just want to say to men, please, it doesn't have to be me. It doesn't have to be hot bikini models. Follow women. Talk to women. Like, please, for the love of God, for the betterment of your own mental health and worldly views, do not allow yourself to turn your feeds into echo chambers of this bullshit, because I promise you it is taking you down a lonely and destructive path.
Yeah, guys. Yeah. Lonely and destructive path. Who is on a lonely and destructive path right now? You know, people like to bring up like the male loneliness epidemic, when the reality is women are just as lonely, if not more lonely, because they require more social engagement, community. And that number of mono women on psychiatric medication and being lonely is just ever growing. And my next point is this. This is an important point. I don't think that women today realize that men are on a different phase. The phase of let's talk about this, and it's just the truth. Let's hear what feminists have to say, modern feminists. Men are past that, right? They're past the conversation phase. And I don't blame them because they are now watching the results of these chicks' decisions. They see it. And so now the only thing they want to see are the results and kind of just be like, I told you so. Top comment here says, Prime Train is the best. Somebody else here says, he said, unfollow women for doing corn. Somebody else here says, Andrew Tate all over again. There you go. They're actually promoting corn here. This is crazy.
That male Australian influencer that told all of his followers to unfollow all women on social media and lock in is such a good example of how a lot of this content from like these self-improvement, self-help male influencers, it's just all sprinkled with soft misogyny. And me saying soft is being very nice. In comparison to explicit manosphere content, which is obviously very violent and hostile towards women, this type of content, this self-improvement content and these influencers, it's seen as healthy because it's framed in a way that's like, oh, it's just telling men to earn more, to train more, to focus on themselves, like don't focus on women, blah, blah, blah. But it still has the same exact underpinnings. Like when you look further, it has the same exact underpinnings as this manosphere content. It's still shifting the blame onto women and it's still like externalizing male desire rather than looking internally, because let's be real, that's a lack of your own self-control. That's not due to like women's visibility. And what I mean when I say it's externalizing male desire rather than internalizing it is that it's not actually teaching men or like equipping them with the capacity to sit with that desire and like, I don't know, not be ruled by it or even just interrogate the desire in the first place. It's just teaching them to like purify the environments from women. Women be gone. And you're reducing these women to distractors or like obstacles to your development and improvement. And the funny thing is, these influencers, like these male influencers that create content around like self-help or self-improvement, whatever, you are operating in the same exact attention economy that these female influencers are. Like, babes, you're making half-naked gym contents. And you're also profiting off your attractiveness and visibility the same way that you critique these women for doing so. Anyways, I'm getting a little bit off topic, but not really because it's all connected. But anyways, my main sort of irk with this type of content is that it's not explicitly like violent. Or it doesn't have that same degree of like resentment and hostility towards women that a lot of other like manosphere content does, but it still has the same underpinnings. It allows men to easily blame women for their feelings or frustrations or whatever without looking any deeper than the surface. Like in this example, when you're telling men to unfollow women, like it's going to resolve whatever the deeper issue is, whether that's loneliness or unmet needs, whatever, that's not doing anything. That's avoidance. It's not discipline.
Next comment here says, may I ask, did you read the caption? Somebody else here says, not the break from the full-time job. Here's somebody else who added, Prime Train can get in the bin. Another person here says, do what you like, guys. Don't listen to this.
I'm so about to get accused of being a pick-me girl for this, but I'm just going to go there because something needs to be said. Prime Train recently posted this on his social media, which obviously got a lot of pushback. And clunkily phrased. Don't agree with this phrasing. Don't even agree with this concept. But what he says in the caption, I find myself agreeing with. I work with women in self-development and in dating for a living. That's the space that I spend the most time in. I see the impact of what Instagram and TikTok is becoming, which is soft core corn. I see the impact that that is having on women and women's romantic and platonic relationships every day. You cannot tell me that constantly seeing these images of half, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this word online, but like half naked women online who are OF stars is healthy for the male developing brain. It's not even healthy for the female brain to be constantly bombarded with these images of what a woman should or an ideal woman should look like. And what he is effectively encouraging in the caption is for men to start to take control and ownership over their lust. And do I agree with that? Yes, I do. Should they be unfollowing OF models if they can't control themselves? Yes, they should. Should they not be liking half-naked photos of women on Instagram if they have a girlfriend? They shouldn't be doing. Obviously, when he said unfollow female influencers, there's a lack of context there. Do I agree with that? No. There are some incredible female influencers out there who do incredible work, who are also, by the way, completely entitled to show and reveal their body and be promiscuous and to do whatever they want. But do I believe that constantly having this show up on your feed and on your algorithm is impacting your brain and the nature of your relationships in the world, I absolutely agree with that.
Somebody else here added, oh, but if it was the other way around. Next comment here reads, I'm pretty sure he didn't say unfollow all women. Unbelievable. Hey guys, as always, I appreciate you for checking out yet another episode of the Coffee Pod. To my currently engaged or soon to be married men, if you need a prenup and would like a guide that shows you how to get a solid and legally binding prenuptial agreement, hit the link into the top of the comment section and access your guide at fathershaverights.com today.